Hello YouTube, and in this video I'm going to attempt to do some vinyl wrapping on my van. I've got a carbon wrap. I'm hopefully going to do the rear spoiler at some stage, but to start with I went for something a little bit easier and went for the wing mirror caps. So stay tuned, watch this video. If you're a subscriber, then welcome back. If you're not, please subscribe, like my channel, follow me for some more DIY vids. Let's go. Right, so let's get started with it. So I've taken it off the van in order to do it inside because it's a bit cold and wet and miserable outside. But I get the process on the van would be a lot more simpler. It won't move, you're not going to get any movement whilst you're trying to pull the vinyl, heat the vinyl, stretch the vinyl, etc. So I'm going to give it a go off the van. If it turns out to be a shower of shambles, then I'm obviously going to put it back on the van and I'll have another go. So we're just going to get started. So right, I've chosen some carbon wrap in white. Black and white would look cool. The black one would look really good, sorry, but I'm going to go with the white. So I think it's quite smart. But I don't need all of this, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off. About here, hopefully the trimmer works. Trimming tool, lovely. I'm going to get rid of that bit. Might be able to do my badges, and I'm not happy with that, so I'll keep hold of that bit off cut. Right. So I know that's going to fit. Firstly, what I'm going to do is peel this off. The backing tape. This is just the cheap stuff I got off eBay. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it won't overheat and stretch too much and then burn a hole in. But we'll see. You do, if you have a heat gun, this one it can't do setting. It's like hot or hot. So we'll see how we get on with that. And let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing now is just going to peel the backing off. If I can manage to peel the backing off, like so. Put that to one side because I don't need it. Place the cap down. What I'm going to do is actually just drop that underneath so it doesn't stick all over the table, and I'm just going to take it up over the top, and I'm going to start with this top edge here. Now there's only so far I can go before I start to get bubble patches. Now if you've got one of these are really handy. It's plastic, so it's quite durable, but this is like a felt edge. I've got two different sizes. So I've got a little one, small one, and then you get extra replacement parts. Replacement parts. You get replacement felts, so that's pretty handy. Right, so here we go. I'm just going to start gently trying to feed some of this down. And I'm only going to work in really small stages. I don't want to do something too big because what will happen is I will get a big air bubble somewhere stuck and I'll have to peel it back and start again. So I'm literally just going to work my way down. So I haven't had to apply any heat yet, but it looks like I'm going to in a second. So straight away, this area here is going to be a little bit of a problem. You can see it's starting to bag up. So I'm going to peel it apart from the pack, and I'm just going to rest it down on the table. Right, so what I'm going to do, excuse me. Sticky, very sticky. What I'm going to do is, what we're going to do is apply a little bit of heat into here, only a little. I don't want it to get too hot, I don't want it to stretch, but as soon as you start to see this move, so it starts to stretch, and then I'm just going to pull that round ever so slowly. There. Right, so what I've got is this nice middle section that is air pocket free. So I'm just going to bring it around and show you. So this section here, all the way around here is air pocket free. Now there's a little tiny bit there, but it only means I have to lift ever so slightly that way. And you can pull it out. I'll add a little bit of heat to that, I think, in a second. What the heat gun can also do is areas like this that have started to crease, it will just bring it back to its original state, just like that. But you don't want to add too much heat because it can go wrong and you can overstretch it. And with the carbon look, you don't want to overstretch it too much because you'll start to get funny wiggly carbon lines, and obviously carbon doesn't really come like that. Right, so this next step, I'm going to start over here on this side. I'm going to release it back slightly. I'm going to stick it down on the table so I've got a bit of robustness to it. And all I'm going to do is heat this section here and then pull it right down and round. So hopefully we get no air bubbles in here, and I can cover the rest of the cap up. So I'll give that a go first. Now I've never done this before. I've literally just bought some and thought I'd give it a go, and at the moment I'd say I'm doing alright, but I'm going to have to peel that back now because I've already got some nasty air bubbles just in there. I can see that one, and there's a couple more here and stuff. A big one there, there's a biggie, there's a biggie. So I'm going to heat from the back end. I'm just going to heat from front and back. Haven't really found anything different, but we'll just give it a go. Small bit of heat, hold the mirror case and just pull it round and try to not let any air bubbles think they can get away. It's a bit better, big air bubble there. So I will actually be able to go all the way down there, air bubble free on that edge. I don't really want to do that yet. What I don't want to do is get too far ahead of myself. Move around, but you can start to see it's coming really good shape. So this video isn't like 10 hours long because I'm struggling. You can see I'm struggling a little bit, but that's fine because I'm learning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch you off. I'm going to get a little bit more done, probably like down to about there, air pocket free. The technique I'm going to use is literally just peel it back slightly, heat it a little bit, and then pull it down, and hopefully you'll be air pocket free. But yeah, I'll see you in a moment. So I'm at this last stage now. I've managed to do the whole of the top bit all the way down and a little bit of the edge. I haven't done the edge yet. What I'm going to do now is just heat my way down here ever so slowly, just doing a tiny bit at a time in order not to get too many angles, too many different shapes to want to move around. Now what I've done and what I'm doing now is I'm just using some of the excess and sticking it to the table so that I can move and manipulate a little bit better. So I'm just going to add a little bit of heat in this corner, only a little, don't want to add too much. I don't want it to overstretch or overheat. I found that this is nice. I won't say where it came, well, it came from eBay. I can't remember the company's name, but the chances are I probably won't get much more from them. It's not of the greatest quality. It's working. I mean, I haven't done this before, so I haven't really got anything to compare it to. But as I move some of this around and start trying to shape it, it's actually quite tricky. It's almost like it's a bit thick. That's terrible. It's almost like it's a bit thick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat up here and I'm going to stretch and pull this down and try and get this first bit done. It's proving to be a little bit tricky around this corner, and obviously it's not the hardest of shapes, but I'm struggling a little bit, as you do. Always struggle with some bits. Mine tends to be not putting too much pressure on stuff. So I'm just going to whop that around there. That's pretty good. That's not great. Let's try and get that out. As you can see, I'm using my thumb. What I found is that using this little squeegee, although it's really good, trying to get into little nooks and crannies, it's actually a pain in the arse. So I'm just going to carry on using my thumb, and slow and steady will win the race. Little air bubble there. Luckily I haven't done my edging yet, so I can kind of push it through. Right, so let's have a go at this last bit. So heat, apply the heat, get a bit of a stretch on, not too much, and try and angle it under. Right, now got a bit of a bubble high up, which is a pest. So I'm going to work my way down slowly, and I can do a little bit more at a time now that I've heated it up a bit, which is good. I've got this huge pocket there, so I'm just going to release the tension off the edge, and I'm just going to work. Now, when you're working it with your thumb, you can also feel when there's going to be a big ridge. Now, I'm not sure what the camera can see there. Let me try and just spin it around. So here, that's going to be pretty dodge. If I was to carry on pushing that, I'd get a really bad crease, and I don't want a crease in it, because if I get a crease in it, I then have to apply the heat, and if you've done that space a few more times and a few more times, and what you'll end up with is a really soft area, which you don't want, because then you can't really manipulate it very well. It might burst through, you might ruin the stuff, and obviously being here with literally just that last bit to do, it'd be slightly irritating, I tell you that. Right, so I'm just going to carry on doing this bit. I'm just going to release it from the edge ever so slightly. I'm going to add a tiny bit of heat, and then I'm going to pull it through. I'm just going to gently, so you can almost work out which way it's got to go. It's got to go that way. Okay, so there's one of those funny little notches out. And I'm going to apply that back that way. There's another one. That last little bit there. Brilliant. So now I've just got this tiny bit of corner. Now obviously I did have that corner finished, so obviously now knowing that getting into this corner meant that this bit had to sort of shift over a little bit. That's fine, got that good. What I can do now is the heat and pull, so I can just heat that and pull it right over, and it will stretch down and hopefully leave me with no air bubbles left on this last corner. So let's have a quick look. A little bit of heat, gains the shape back, but also comes a bit more stretchier. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, and I have got a giant air bubble just there. It's huge. So that method didn't work, but the thumb method does. So there you have it. That's now covered. So what I'm going to try and do now before I do the edging is trim up a little bit of this excess, because I don't need all of this excess. Obviously working back around, I've just found that bit there isn't 100%, so I'll just fiddle with those air bubbles push them out slightly. But that's kind of what it's going to look like. It looks pretty sweet. As I said, I'm just going to trim this up and then I'll get back to you once I've trimmed it up. Right, so I've trimmed it up. I haven't quite finished this corner. I'm just going to do that now actually while we're just getting back started. Little bit of nail edge use. Don't want to use too much. A little air bubble there. But anyway, I've got to do this corner now anyway. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of heat to the corner and then just gently pull it and stretch it round. Now it's sharp, so I don't want to pull it too hard because it will just literally split through and burst. It's a bit of mine. Oh, great. Happy days. Hence, obviously still doing it on the vehicle, you won't come into that problem where you snap one of the clips. Good times. Right, anyway, so a little bit of heat and just to pull that round the corner. Little bit of heat. And then I'm just gently going to pull that round. Okay, happy with that. Now this edge here is the top edge. So I can actually work my way around, heating and stretching and heating and pulling and just tucking that in, and then I can trim a bit off all the way around with a Stanley blade, which is what I'm going to do first, which is the first bit I'm going to do. So I'm going to crack on with that. So just going to heat that edge up. It also shrinks the wrap. I don't want to heat it too much. That may have been a bit too much. So I'm just going to be gentle with it. Just going to pull and stretch it into there. Stretch it into there. Little nudge. And so that looks pretty cool. So I can trim that edge up in a moment, knowing that that edge is done. And just make sure it's stuck underneath. That's pretty good. Right, so this edge here, again, so it's got some clips on this one, so I'm going to need to try and work it into the ridge. So again, I'm just going to heat it up a little bit. This time I'm going to get my tool out and I'm just going to run my tool gently down the edge in there and then use the sharper side just to get right into that corner and then along this piece here, which it actually sort of slides into the back of the mirror casing. So we'll have a go at that when we come back to fit it. So I'm just going to trim these bits out and then I'll get back to you in a moment. So I'm going to trim down here and stop at the corner and then just release this bit out and take my cut that way too. Obviously I am not too clever with a knife, so there's little bits here and there that are all stuck in under there, which is cool. So I'm just going to peel that off. That's that bit done. So what you get is a nice edge along there, and that bit obviously slides into the mirror casing at the back, so that's cool. Right, let me see. I can just heat and mould that corner in a little bit better. Just gently, just a little bit of heat, and then thumb, just mould it round. Now I can trim this piece off and get rid of that, so I know I've finished it. So let me just do that, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so I'll just trim that back. I'm just going to heat that slightly now, quick, and then just mould it in a bit better. I mean, you heat and shrink and heat and shrink and heat and shrink and heat and shrink. You don't want to do too much. It will not like it after a while, I have found. Doing the rear spoiler was an absolute pig, but you'll see that in the next video. Anyway, so I'm going to do this long edge around here, then it just leaves me with this little short edge, and then I can go and put it back on the van and see what she looks like. So there it is. I mean, if I was being brutally honest with myself, there's a couple of bits that I'm not 100% happy with, but to the naked eye, you know, it looks all right. There's a couple of little bubbles here that have started to appear, or that I've missed. But for a first go, I'm pretty chuffed with that. So I'm going to go and take her out, get her put on the van. do the other one, and then I will show you the finished look. All right, so see you in a minute. And there she is. That's what she looks like back on the van. Looks pretty sweet, I have to say. It's a little bit dirty already, but I'm well chuffed with that. And I'll just go around the other side and show you the other one. This is Tom from T-Dubs. If you're a subscriber, thanks for watching. If you're not, please subscribe to my channel and follow me for some more videos. Got a few more DIY videos coming up, one of them being a stance plus coilover fit. So hopefully I can get my van lower than what it is now. Currently, tractor ride, should be good. In this video, you just saw me try and do some vinyl wrapping. I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, so please don't comment below with some silly sarcastic comments of how good you are and bad you are. I understand it's not pro level. I just thought I'd have a go, and I thought I'd show you guys. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for some more videos. Cheers. Catch you later.